whatever you guys have created, that gave you a solid idea how the components work. Okay, so you have created several components like nav bar, footer, several other cards, etc. Whatever you have created. So you guys now have a gist idea of how components work. Now it's time to introduce you with the states, or in other words, we call it a variable to the React. Okay, so we already know the JavaScript wala variable. Now we have to learn about what is the difference between state and a variable. Okay, so everything is already prepared here in this slide that I will share you afterwards. In normal JavaScript, how we do let a, we do const, okay, like this. But these are normal variables. तो रिएक्ट का जरूरत क्यों पड़ा? नॉर्मल जावास्क्रिप्ट या डॉम से भी तो अपना काम चल रहा था. तो वेरी फर्स्ट डे वी डिस्कस्ड अबाउट इट. तो हम लोगों का डिस्कशन का समरी ये था कि जब मेरा वेरिएबल का वैल्यू इम्पैक्ट हो या चेंज हो, ठीक है, उस हिसाब से मेरा ब्राउजर रेंडर होना चाहिए, तो सपोज आई हैव अ बॉक्स हियर, ठीक है, अगर इसमें टिक हो तो मेरा अलग से एक सेक्शन खुलना चाहिए नीचे का, जो भी हो, कुछ टेक्स्ट वगैरह जो भी हो वो खुलना चाहिए. सपोज हम लोग स्कूल में किए थे ना, बहुत लोग तो किए होंगे, वी हैड व्हाट, ट्रू फॉल्स स्कूल में. तो ट्रू हुआ तो ठीक है, फॉल्स हुआ तो एक्सप्लेन व्हाई इट इज फॉल्स. तो सपोज देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन हियर, ठीक है, जिसके हिसाब से यहाँ पे तुम लोगों का दो बॉक्स है, वन इज ट्रू वाला, वन इज फॉल्स वाला, ठीक है. अगर तुमने ट्रू पे क्लिक किया तो कोई बात नहीं, अगर तुमने फॉल्स पे टिक किया देन यू हैव टू गिव एन एक्सप्लेनेशन, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, यहाँ पे बेस्ड ऑन योर सिलेक्शन और बेस्ड ऑन योर चॉइस you have to render a separate section or a separate component, you guys can say. तो यही वाला बात हो गया कि अपने स्टेट्स के अंदर, ठीक है. तो स्टेट का मतलब ही ये है कि वो रन टाइम में तुम्हारा रेंडरिंग में हेल्प करता है, रिएक्ट का जो भी रेंडरिंग होता है उसमें हेल्प करता है. सो लेट्स just go through with the PPT once, then we'll discuss. ठीक है. So today we'll learn about hooks. Before that we'll learn about states. और hooks में भी just only one hook that we will learn today, that is use state hook. ठीक है. क्या होता है hook? यहाँ पे देख लो. Hooks are special JavaScript functions introduced in React 16.8. मतलब React 17 से वो अच्छे से काम करना चालू कर दिया था. That allow functional components to use React feature. Functional component मतलब आप लोग जो भी कंपोनेंट अभी तक बनाए होंगे, तो ऑल ऑफ दोज आर फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट. लाइक ऐप हो गया, तुम्हारा नैप बर हो गया, फुटर हो गया, कार्ड हो गया, वट एवर. बिकॉज हम लोग क्या लिखते हैं, RFC ना, रिएक्ट फंक्शन बेस्ड कंपोनेंट. तो वट एवर कंपोनेंट्स यू हैव क्रिएटेड ऑल आर फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट. तो उनमें ही स्टेट मैनेज करने के लिए या लाइफ साइकिल मैनेज करने के लिए एक्सेट्रा रेफरेंस के लिए हम लोग क्या यूज करते हैं, हुक्स यूज करते हैं. ठीक है. we'll learn about it or in the practicals डिटेल में. तो हुक्स के इंट्रोड्यूस कहाँ पे हुआ, 2019 में. यू कैन रफली से इट एज रिएक्ट 16.8, इतना बोलने की जरूरत है. यू कैन से दैट फ्रॉम रिएक्ट 17 इट इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड. ओके. उससे पहले क्या था, इफ यू गाइस सी, उसके पहले अपने पास था क्लास बेस्ड कंपोनेंट, क्लास कंपोनेंट्स. ठीक है. एंड रिएक्ट 16.8 के बाद अपने पास आ गया था फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट. ठीक है. तो फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट, जो भी कंपोनेंट आप फंक्शन की तरह बनाते हैं, उनमें स्टेट्स और हुक्स का होना बहुत अच्छा है. ठीक है. उससे काम आसानी से होता है. अभी देख लो प्रॉब्लम विद क्लास में क्या होता है. सो क्लास, इफ यू गाइस नो ऑलरेडी सम अदर लैंग्वेज और एल्सवेयर, और हम लोग जावास्क्रिप्ट भी पढ़े हैं, तो वहाँ पे भी थोड़ा सा तुमने पढ़ा होगा कि क्लास में कंस्ट्रक्टर होता है, दिस कीवर्ड होता है, बाइंडिंग, डेटा बाइंडिंग होता है. So these are I mean these are hard to code actually. ठीक है. और इनका लॉजिक भी रन टाइम में थोड़ा थोड़ा लाइफ साइकिल में चेंज होता रहता है, ठीक है। वो कैसे रिएक्ट करेगा ऑन द गो, ये हम लोगों को पहले से नहीं पता होता। I mean, most of the cases it might run perfectly well, but in few scenarios and the life cycle event कुछ एक अगर क्या बोल सकते हैं, ट्रैफिक ज्यादा आ गया, कुछ टाइप ऑफ डेटा का कुछ मिसमैच हो गया, सो इट कैन क्रैश। So it is always better to work with functional components, ठीक है। So here there are some comparisons, ठीक है। Use of this keyword, more boilerplate, that means more coding is there required for the class components, harder to read because वो मतलब पूरा का पूरा ही फंक्शन मतलब क्या है, कोडिंग बेस पे चला जाएगा, तो that is typically hard to read। हम लोग का फंक्शन कंपोनेंट में क्या होता है, बहुत इजी होता है, एक फंक्शन बनाओ, किसी और कंपोनेंट को उसमें कॉल कर लो, कुछ पास करना है तो एज अ प्रॉप पास करो, कुछ रेंडर करवाना है तो कैसे करते हैं हम लोग, वी यूज मैप्स, फिल्टर्स, रिड्यूस, ऐसे करते हैं, है ना। सो दैट इज मच इजियर टू रीड, मच इजियर टू मैनेज, बहुत ज्यादा कोड लिखने का भी जरूरत नहीं है। सो दिस इज अ लॉट मोर सेफर ऑप्शन इन द फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट। एंड फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट प्लस हुक्स गिव यू अ टोटल कंट्रोल ऑफ द रेंडरिंग पार्ट, ठीक है। So this is the way of calling a hook. Suppose I am talking about use state. Okay, so this is a hook. This use state अपने अंदर दो चीजें रखते हैं. So we are just extracting out two of the features. एक है set state, एक होता है just the state. So suppose you can call it as, एक होता है variable और एक function होता है that can update the variable. ठीक है, we have two things here. लिखने का जगह तो यहाँ पे है नहीं. Let's move to some other place where I can show you. Workspace में चलते हैं. Here we might add a pen like thing. हाँ, पेन तो है अपने पास. चलो देखते हैं कैसे क्या लिखा जा सकता है. So तो हम लोग क्या बोले कि अभी we have a variable. Suppose this is an array. Okay, array में अपने पास दो चीज है. One is a variable, ठीक है, and next one is a function. फंक्शन जो कि अपडेट कर सकते हो. अपडेट क्या, जो क्या कर सकता है, इस वेरिएबल का जो भी वैल्यू है उसको चेंज कर सकता है, ठीक। नीचे ऊपर हो जा रहा है, हटाओ, नॉर्मल हम इससे करेंगे, ठीक है, जो कि इसका वैल्यू को अपडेट कर सकता है। और इसको हम बोलते हैं यूज स्टेट. यूज स्टेट से ये आता है. यूज स्टेट इज अ फंक्शन इटसेल्फ and it handles or it can have any type of value here. अपने पास कौन कौन से टाइप है, we have integer, है ना, string है, boolean है, और क्या है, null is a value also, so null is one. अपने पास object है और अपने पास array है. Okay, so useState can hold any kind of data, so that is why we are saying ये react का variable की तरह काम करते हैं. So and whenever this variable value changes, तो इसका वैल्यू अगर कहीं भी इम्पैक्ट हुआ, it will immediately run the component, ठीक है. component मतलब क्या होता है, सपोज अपने पास है app component, so this is my app component. ऐप अपना कुछ यहाँ पे रिटर्न कर रहा है, रिटर्न समथिंग, ठीक है, इसके अंदर अपना कोड्स वगैरह लिखा हुआ है. सो वी ऑलरेडी नो दिस थिंग. तो अपने पास यहाँ पे एक यूज स्टेट है. सो सपोज समझ लो इनिशियली उसका वैल्यू है 0, ठीक है. तो मेरा यहाँ पे कोड पे ऐसा कुछ लिखा है कि ये वाला कोड जब चलेगा, इट चेंजेस द वैल्यू ऑफ 0. सपोज उसने 1 किया, जब भी 1 करेगा ये पूरा का पूरा ऐप आके रिफ्रेश होगा, ठीक है. तो अभी क्या हो गया, वैल्यू रिफ्रेश होके मेरा 1 हो गया. सो नाउ दिस यूज स्टेट हैज 1 वैल्यू. नेक्स्ट अगर कुछ कोड वगैरह चला, वो 1 का 5 कर दिया, ठीक है, तो क्या होगा, पूरा का पूरा ऐप वापस से रिफ्रेश होगा. तो जिस कंपोनेंट के अंदर, और आई कैन से जिस फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट के अंदर मेरा यूज स्टेट है, जब भी मेरा स्टेट का वैल्यू चेंज होगा, दैट फंक्शनल कंपोनेंट विल re-render. Okay, only by that we can achieve the actual implementation of React, because React के implementation का logic ही ये था that it has to render in current scenario, मतलब जब भी value change हो उस हिसाब से उसका render होना चाहिए। और दूसरा क्या था, क्यों हम React यूज करते हैं, सपोज we have 5 different places और 5 different files tabs, suppose ये अपना एक होम टैब हो गया, ठीक है। whenever the state changes, সেই স্টেটটা যে কম্পোনেন্টের মধ্যে কলিং আছে না, অ্যাপের মধ্যে কলিং থাকতে পারে, আমি ন্যাপ বার নিতে পারি, তাই তো, এটাও তো একটা কম্পোনেন্টই, তার মধ্যে কলিং থাকতে পারে এই একটা স্টেটের। তো যেই স্টেট মানে স্টেটটা যে কম্পোনেন্টের মধ্যে কলিং হবে সেই কম্পোনেন্টটা পুরোপুরি একবার রিরেন্ডার করবে। রিরেন্ডার মানে নতুন করে লোড হবে, ঠিক আছে। এখানে আসলে তো আমরা মানে এই সার্কেলে ক্লিক করলে কি রিলোড হয়, তো সেটাকেও তো বলা হয় রেন্ডারিং হওয়া। বাট আমার পুরো ডম লোড হবে না, শুধুমাত্র একটা পার্টিকুলার কম্পোনেন্ট রিরেন্ডার হবে, দ্যাটস ইট। এটা আমি লগ মেরে মেরে দেখিয়ে দেবো, কনসোল ডট লগ ছিল, এটা বোঝানো একটুখানি টাফ আছে, বাট মোটামুটি এই হচ্ছে কনসেপ্ট। যখনই স্টেট চেঞ্জ হবে ওর যে প্যারেন্ট কম্পোনেন্ট সে রেন্ডার হবে, ঠিক আছে। সাপোজ আমি ধরে নিচ্ছি এখানে কার্ড আছে আমার কাছে, একটা কার্ড কম্পোনেন্ট আমি বানিয়েছি, CARD is one component, or you can say one file, ঠিক আছে, for your easiness. So I have a file called card.jsx. Okay, so what are you guys doing here? তোমরা একটা কার্ড বলে ফাংশন বানাবে, so card is a function here like this, ঠিক আছে। here you will say return একটা div বানাবে এখানে, okay, done. then you will export card, তাই তো, এটাই হচ্ছে আমার কাছে একটা সিম্পল কার্ড কম্পোনেন্ট। now if I have a state here, a state, whenever I update the state or I change the value of the state, the entire card component will be re-rendered, ঠিক আছে। এটাই হচ্ছে গল্প। so this is one thing, কিভাবে কলিং করতে হয় বা কিভাবে কোড লিখতে হয় সেটা বলে দিয়েছে। we have use state, use callback, use memo, use ref, আর lots of, ঠিক আছে। তো তার মধ্যে একটা সব থেকে মোস্ট পপুলার হচ্ছে use state. নাও রোল অফ হুক, হোয়ার টু কল, মানে হুকস আছে মানে তো মানে একটা ভেরিয়েবল আছে বলে তো এই নয় যেখানে সেখানে কল করিয়ে দেবো, তাই না। এ তো আর I mean const equal to a নয়, so we have to call it in this places, like আর কোনো কাস্টম হুকস এর মধ্যে I can make a hook, and এখানে কেন কল করছি না, like loops, condition, nested function, class components, why we are not calling it here, because there is a possibility of infinite calling. So when you are in a loop, there is a possibility of infinite calling. Suppose আমি এখানে বলছি যে আমার একটা simple I have a component here, so this is one file, in this there is one function ABC, this is a fat arrow function, it will return something, it will, for now I am saying like return some component here, some code here, then export it, export ABC, and ABC টা যথারীতি আমার কাছে অ্যাপের মধ্যে যাবে, and I will tag this ABC component in my app. So what we are actually trying to achieve, suppose I have a use state here and that is initialized with 0, I will have a variable and a function to update a variable like a, and I will have set a. Whenever I try to increase the value of this 0, suppose I am in a loop, this loop is running from a range like 1 to 10 is the range in which the loop is running. So first time when the loop will run, it will make what, it will set, second time run করলে কতটা হবে 2 তে আপডেট করে দেবে, থার্ড টাইম রান করলে 3 তে আপডেট করবে, fourth time run করলে 4 এ আপডেট করবে। So this is what I just said, whenever the state will update, this entire function or this entire component will re-render. Every time the loop is like looping 1, update the value to 1, the entire component re-renders, then this again start, again looping 1, update 1, the entire component again re-renders. component render হলে কি হবে, আমার বারবার এই লুপটা কি হবে, রিসেট হয়ে যাবে, তাই তো। think about just reloading a browser, what will happen? The default values will be reset. Okay, so anything declared inside the component will be reset. Suppose you are in a loop এর মধ্যে তোমরা 5 10 15 তে আছো, but at the moment the component get re-rendered, the count will be lost. This kind of updation is not advised inside loop. You should never do it otherwise. So these are the, I mean, mota mota ye conditions hai. So we should not call. So use state is widely used, use effect is widely used, use context is widely used, use ref also widely used. More or less tinte: use memo, use reducer, and custom hooks also we do use custom hooks. I mean, what is this? Understanding the states. So state is a data that changes while the application is running. On the runtime you are changing some data in the application, like what? Changing the brightness, changing the volume, etc. But in the actual world, I mean in the actual applications in React, shopping cart quantity, like you have an item, here is a picture of the item. You have this thing like one number is there, here is a plus button, here is a minus button. Suppose this is 1, and here we have what? Price. Okay, so price is what? Suppose 100 into whatever number is written here will be updated by default. So whenever you click this number will get to 2, and subsequently the price will be like 100 into 2, 200. Again you click here, the number will again increase, and subsequently this will also update. So this is what? This is on the runtime without holding anything. Okay, any execution. This is on the runtime. So whenever my value or my state is changed, this is what? State. Okay, whenever the value or the state is changed in React, correspondingly in whatever places the calling happens, like here one is the price for calling. Okay, another maybe one quantity will একটা আলাদা field থাকতে পারে, there also you can see how many quantities are there. So at what are the places the component has been used, সেখানেও কিন্তু on the real time the state will be reflected. For this case the number is here. Or if I can give you another example, this is a very popular example, hope that makes sense. In another one, suppose I have a web page, this is, or a bigger website actually. Suppose I have 5 tabs, 1 2 3 4 5, like home, about, service, etc. Those sections. Okay, you got it. Now I have here a button, that is what? Theme button, THEME. Light or dark? When you are in home page, you clicked on this button to dark. Next, when you move to another one, do you have to again click it? By default, every page, so every page is a separate component for me. So we have already learned that we have multiple files, like one is home, about, then we have contact. So every file is a separate component here. But what happens when you are making this? Suppose this is in app, in the most parent component, you are making the theme as true means, suppose true means what? True means suppose light, and false means suppose dark. So সেখানে যদি তোমরা এটাকে light or dark, if you select that, so in every component the reflection will be there, or the execution will be reflected in every component. This is how useState works. So you are changing the state of this particular button. Okay, button or DOM, whatever. So if you change the state of this button or state of this DOM, throughout all the component the reflection will be present. Current user, current likes, etc. Previous example relate to this actually, static UI and dynamic UI. So static, always you will get the same content. Okay, like whatever you are creating right now, those are all static UI. You cannot interact with the pages. Okay, so just today's assignment was there, two slides or two different websites completely static. We cannot interact with them. But in the dynamic section, what we can do? We can change content, we can update some states. Okay, we can modify some data, etc. So that you guys get it. Now the most interesting question for the interviews. Okay, like, sir, why do we have to use state? Why cannot we just use normal variables? I mean, I have 0, I can just increment it like +1, +2, +3, and thus it can be incremented. So why not using the simple variables? Well, the answer is very simple, that we definitely can increase or decrease the value, but here increasing or decreasing the value doesn't make any sense to me. Why, sir? Because if I come here again, I can increase this value or decrease this value, but according to that, will this price be changing when I am using normal variable like let variable or const variable? Will it affect this one? The answer is no, sir. It will not affect the price, because this is a separate variable, like let price is something and let count or number is something. Okay, so these two are not correlated. If I have to make those two things work together, I have to write some other function, some other code, okay, that will react on this change. But in the React.js only, I have the state management state life cycle, in which this functionality is automatically handled. Like whenever the state is changed or whenever the value is changed, any correlated or any dependent parameters will be automatically updated in the component. Okay, so this is the thing here. Next, this I will directly show you on on the coding section. You guys can refer to this, like increment is here, counter increment. Okay, then we have decrement. Definitely increment is just +1 and decrement is just -1, so nothing extra code here. Yeah, paste it, full stop, and hit. So I want you guys to install this, I mean create a new project as well alongside me. So whatever package name, I have no issue with that. Selecting React, JavaScript plus React compiler, ESLint, and yes, no problem. एंड लगे हाथों टेलविंड भी इंस्टॉल कर ही लेते हैं, बिकॉज अगर कुछ कंपोनेंट वगैरह बनाना हुआ तो आसानी होगा. In the docs, npm this one. Okay, installation will be done in a moment. In the vite config ts, we have to paste the import first, then we'll paste the plugins. So tailwind css plugin, and it's done. Okay, next we have to add this to the parent css, that means to the index.css. Okay, so remove everything, paste it. Next what? Next just clean everything and we'll see how it looks like. app.js rafce. So everyone should be looking at this. Now focus. So we will be searching React use state hooks. Okay, and I want you guys to read about it a bit. You can go with the official documentation also, but I just get the summary here. Okay, the useState hook is a functional feature in React that allows you to add state to your functional component. It provides a way to manage and update state within a functional component, making it more dynamic and interactive. So let's get the code here also, that we will discuss a little bit. Uh, Again, always count. Why it is always count? Anyways, so here we have another example. So count will be pretty simple, but this is a more interesting one. Like suppose we have two inputs. One input is for first name, another input is for the last name. And what I want to capture those names from the input fields and just display it as it is. H1 tag or in a P tag, we can display it like how it is possible. It is possible through useState. So in the useState, we have this handle change. This handle change will do what? It will change the value of this object in this useState and will perform the rest of work. Okay, so this one is now done. I can kill this terminal. npm run dev, and it is now running. This was the previous page, and this is what we have right now. Only app is written here. Let's make an h1. So we already knew these things as of now. Suppose I am giving like a name is something, and this something will come from a variable. As of now, name, I am putting the variable as a const. So const name equals to my name. Simple. So name is Vijay Ghosh, and this is not required, I think. Or I can put like my name is Vijay Ghosh. Okay, that's simple. But how I can get this? I mean, so you can create a use state snippet, use state snippet. Okay, and this is for count, and by default it is what, 0. 0 is my default count. What I can say, I will say print count is not as is something like I am thinking count as a variable. So by default what you will see, count is 0 every time. Let's make it a bit bigger, right side, left hand side, done. Okay, also don't need this. Now what I need, I want to have a button on which I can click and increase the count as of now. So what I will do, I will create a simple button, and this will say increase. Give a class name also, like bg orange. I can give bg or bg orange 700, or I can say like px5 py23 whatever, and empty, that means margin top 10. Okay, that makes sense, I think. So we have this button here, and what I want that whenever I click on this button, the count will increase, not only here, also in this way. So let's make a function for that. I will say const handle increase is a function that will take what, that will take event. We already know the things. E is what, is the event. Okay, or you can also print it here, like this will be in on click. So in on click, what I have e, I will simple log the e. Very carefully just see. So this is what I have. This is failed to reload. See, it could be this syntax error. Why, bro? Okay, this is the, now do not need this, and now it is okay. So whenever I hit this button, what will happen? It will trigger an event, and the event will be automatically be printed. It will be an object. So let's just click it. Synthetic base event. This is what? Synthetic base event. There are two kinds of event. One is synthetic base event, that is triggered through React. Another one is what? Another one is DOM event or actual event, that is triggered through actual DOM. This is not an actual DOM. This app is not the actual DOM. This is what? Virtual DOM. Okay. So React is a concept of virtual DOMing. Every component is a part of the virtual DOM. So whenever we have any event on the virtual DOM, it is triggered as synthetic base event or synthetic event. So now you are getting all the information, like React name is what? So it is on click event. This is the event name on click. What is the type of the event? It is click event. Okay. Target. So this is all these things are target. What is it targeting for? Like alt key, bubble, button 0, etc. A lot of those things. Okay. For now we are only focusing on a single thing, that would be target. I will say e dot target. Just this is the target. So if I say target, what it gives me? It gives me the actual DOM. So you can see the button actually. We have this kind of component. So right now we are having e dot target, and the target give me the entire component. Similarly for this one, if I add an event on the paragraph also, reload this one. Now I am clicking on the paragraph. So what you are getting? You are getting the p tag. Next, if I click on increase, what you are getting? You are getting this increase. So anyway, this is the main thing here. I'm commenting this line as of now because that would be helpful for you. I want you guys to experiment a bit with this. Okay, so this code is there preserved as of now. I am doing like whenever someone clicks on this button, I want to increase the count number. So this was the main objective. If I click on this increase, the count will be increased. Like count is 1. Then again I click it, count is 2. Then again I click it, count is 3. This is the objective. So we have a ready-made thing here like set count, and it will be doing the task. So whatever count I have, I've already described. But the set count is the function updates the value of this count variable. Okay. So it has the power to update the state. Sometime I am calling it variable, sometime I am calling it state. The actual term is state, but for your own understanding, I am calling it as a variable. So whatever state the count has, set count function has all the rights, has all the power to affect the count state. I am saving the file and reloading it here. Next, what I should see here, like increase, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6, everything is working fine. It is working as per my expectation. What I said, whenever the state changes, the entire component will re-render. So that is point number 2. State changing is simple, but point number 2 is what? Point number 2 is whenever the state change, its parent component. So he is the parent component of this count. App is the parent component as of now for this count. This count will, or this app component will re-render. How can I check that? I will simply log it now. Whenever it re-renders, simply this log will be printed. Like I am saying, like b rendering, RENDERING dot. Save it. First time it is re-rendered because the if I reload the page, the component will load into the browser. So first time it is getting re-rendered, no issues. Second time, why it is re-rendering? Because useState is by default assigning 0 value, so it is re-rendering second time. So these two are, we have done this one, increase wala part. Next one is what? Next one is decrease. That is also very simple. We'll just simply copy paste on this and making it as decrease, I mean negative. Copy this one, come here, paste it, and just making it negative. Orange को हम बोलेंगे blue 700. Done. So right now it is 0. If I decrease it, -1, -2, -3. If I increase it, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Okay, and every time the state changes, whatever state, I mean in the positive way or in the negative way. The next part is, I mean, handle increase. This is a function that will be increasing everything. Set count, I am taking like set count plus 1 as of now. So you have already seen this is count plus 1, but there is another way of doing it. Like we have one thing called previous value. So whatever is my previous value, I will say prev plus 1. Okay, whatever previous value I have, I will update it with the plus 1. And this function will be called in between this. Done. Okay, so now increase is 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. This is also working fine. Okay, and decrease is also working fine. Perfect. So it is better to use the pref instead of the count. In this scenario only I am talking about. In scenarios like you are in toggling in what? Toggling it from true to false or false to true. In those scenarios also you can use pref. You can make like this, just showing it, const toggle comma set toggle equals to useState. You are making it like false as of now. Okay, and I can say const handle Toggle is a fat arrow function. In that scenario, what it will do, it will set toggle to what? To the previous, and if there is any previous value, for now it is like false. False will be converted to not false, that means true. Again, if I hit this, it will again be converted into circular way. Suppose I can, maybe I can give you an example of it, like a button I am taking as of now. There I will be giving the exact value, not any text. I will give like toggle. In a p tag, I will say value is toggle or value if toggle and value print. Chalo, let's see what it is. That will definitely work. I will select toggle name here and we'll give a on click event. In that scenario, what it will be clicking, handle toggle. I mean, it should refer this one. Okay, and print in React JS. Print as true or false. Yes, similar logic, previous not previous, done. Okay, dot to string. So that is what I am. So now if I say value is false, if I click it true, again click it false, true, and I can add this class name also here. So that you can identify the button slate 700 or 300 like this. Perfect. So this is what is a toggle button. If I click on toggle, it will be changing the values from true to false. What is the logic? The logic is simple, that whatever previous value I already have, I will just, and for the handle increase, I have whatever previous value I have in the count, will increase it by 1. And for the decreasing part, I have for numbers and booleans. Now we will be doing something on textual data like this one, like name. So I will be capturing a data, or I will be capturing a name from a form tag, then we'll be doing it still. So let's delete this part, handle click, etc. As of now I don't want, so we can keep it like this. Const name is also not required as of now, and this is also it's a fresh page, nothing here. So I need what? I need a state to store my name or to store any name. State snippet, I will say name. Simple. I have two things, one is name and is set name. By default I will state a name here like John Doe, very popular. I will have a input of text type, input text. We'll have something like name. I will give something like full name, one ID name. We'll give a placeholder. In the placeholder also I will put the same name here that is already present. So this is the input box. Let's give a border, otherwise a class name. Okay, border black 700, border slate 700. Give a margin, so margin from all side I am giving margin 10. Next what? Next I need a button. I need an h1 also. H1 to display my name. If any name updates, one will display that. Next what? Next I need a button. So a button will be like submit. Only submit is there. We get it. We have a button here. We have a field here, and we have a area where I can put the names. For now, nothing. So my name is not this name is, my name is blank. So if it is blank, it is coming as name and name I can put here A is coming, or full name. I can, if I can put this here, A B C. I have simply made a ternary operation here. So if I have name here, in that case I will say my name is whatever name I have stored, it will be displayed. Or if the name field is blank or what, or undefined, in that case what I will say, I will say you just display this default one, and the default one is what, full name as of now. So I am displaying that. Okay. Placeholder I will not keep this, I will keep enter your name, okay, in double quotes. What is the next task here? The next task is simple. I will capture the value of this input and will update this name. Got it? First step is capture value from input. Next is what? Update the state. Okay. So we all know how to capture a value. We will simply be doing something like this: on click, and we'll pass a function. This is a function. I will say handle submit. This will get called with what? With an E. E is the event, and this E will be transferred here. এখান থেকে আমি কল করাবো, আমি বলবো on change of this property, I mean whenever the value will change. Okay, and we'll give a property of value. এবার প্রিন্ট করে, চলো দেখা যাক কি আসে। A component is changing an uncontrolled input of control. Sorry bro. Now let's make it, আমি পুরো ব্লকটাকে এখানে কমেন্ট করে দিলাম as of now. A B C D, তাহলে কি হচ্ছে এখানে, আমি যখন কিছু টাইপ করছি তখন আসছে, বাট আমার নেমটা আপডেট হচ্ছে না। সো দ্যাট ইজ a different issue. I'll say set name e dot target dot value, বিকজ তোমরা দেখতে পাবে প্রত্যেকটার মধ্যে একটা করে ভ্যালু প্রপার্টি আছে, সো প্রিন্ট করানো যায় A B C D E F G H. if I write একটা সিঙ্গেল করে অ্যালফাবেট দেবো, তাতে করে কি হবে, তাতে করে আমার পুরো কম্পোনেন্টটা বারবার রিরেন্ডার হবে। লেটস, আর রিরেন্ডার আমরা কি করে বুঝবো, আমরা অ্যাপের মধ্যে লগ লাগিয়ে দিই, তাতে বুঝতে সুবিধা হবে। আমি বলবো rendering, that means the entire component is getting loaded again and again. Okay, so this is the first time it is getting re-rendered. I say A, এর জন্য একবার re-render করলো, B, তাহলে এইবার কি হলো চেঞ্জ হয়ে, this time the variable or the state is updated from A to AB. Okay, next time again update to ABC, তারপরে করলাম next time again update to ABCD. ওকে, তারপর ই এফ এরকম করে করে প্রত্যেকবার রি-রেন্ডারিং এ আমার জিনিসটা কি হচ্ছে, চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে। ফার্স্ট টাইম ইট ইজ এ, সেকেন্ড টাইম ইট ইজ এ বি, থার্ড টাইম ইট ইজ এ বি সি ডি ই এফ জি এইচ আই জে কে এল, whatever. This function is actually capturing the value from this input and storing it inside name. Okay, so because তোমরা যদি দেখো নেমটা এখানে প্রিন্ট হয়েছে, নেম ইজ প্রিন্টেড হিয়ার, ABCDEFG যেটাই আছে এখানে, that is printed over here. So that is actually a good sign. Okay, next is what, next we have to simply submit it. We can submit, I mean we do not have any button as of now, comment করে দিয়েছি, we can submit the name and we can simply alert it, I mean create an alert of it. Chalo, let's create this one. I will, and every event like click event, everything on click এ তো আমাদের definitely থাকেই, e একটা event trigger হবে, that will do what, that will do first e dot prevent. I can give a console.log also, console.log, like entered name is বলে আমি এখানে নেম দিয়ে দিই, comma simple name. Okay, and next I can put an alert here like greetings GREETINGS. Mr. Name Vijay Ghosh. My name is getting populated here. Which code is responsible for that? For that, this is the H1 that is responsible because it is coming here. This is the normal input field that is responsible. We already know this one. And this handle change. Only this line is doing the entire task. It is taking the values one by one and appending it to this name. So every places it will be reflected. নেক্সট কি কাজ হচ্ছে? নেক্সট হচ্ছে কাজ হচ্ছে আমার সাবমিট বাটনে ক্লিক করলে। সাবমিট বাটনে ক্লিক করলে কি হবে? হ্যান্ডেল সাবমিট উইল বি ট্রিগার্ড and this function is doing what? It is simply doing console log and putting an alert. তো মাথার উপরে একটা এখানে বাক্স চলে আসবে stating greetings. Okay, so when I click on this, so greeting Mr. Vijay Ghosh will come here. Also entered name is Vijay Ghosh. Through this what you can achieve? You can take age, you can take select options. Okay, anything you can take as an input. So what you can do, you can create multiple states as of now in which you will be updating the values when typing on it or when selecting on it and showing it in an alert. Okay, the values will be stored in some place and then when we submit it will call a separate function to call a API, maybe inside API or third party API, whatever, to call an API. So this is the last thing in today's class that I want to show you, and I will share few homeworks or few assignments on forms and data handling